Hi everyone, this is Nina from Raphaela Soul Sessions. I am a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner from Scotland, as some of you know, but some of you are new. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here, for subscribing to my channel and wanting to follow my work. And I'm so glad that my messages resonates with you all. Thank you so much for being here to join me on this journey. I help people all over the world, and I get to facilitate these amazing sessions with equally amazing souls who commit to healing themselves in this way. I wouldn't call myself a healer in the sense that I heal people. I help people find their own power and ability to heal themselves, which is in every single one of us. This work that I do helps people access that healing. And it is incredible. It's powerful. So the thumbnail to this video said it was a session clip. It's not. I'm going to fully be honest and say I spent all of Monday trying to edit part of this beautiful session I did with a lovely, lovely client from Belgium. I got right to the end of editing this clip and it was really difficult because her volume was really low and my volume was really loud. I don't know what happened in the recording of this session. It sounded fine to me when it was in my headphones and she could hear me and I could hear her, but when you listen to the recording, she is way down and really muffled and I'm just normal and really loud. So it took me ages to get the levels right where we were kind of in a similar place. And I got right to the end of it and I just finished and I was just going to go and click save and do all that stuff. And my computer decided to switch itself off and configure. And I took that as a message for me to not post the audio because it's the most disheartening thing when you spend ages creating a session video showcasing the beautiful session you've just had and somebody writes in the comments, I can't hear it, can you turn the volume up? And you're like, I'm sorry. I did, we don't do these recordings for YouTube, we do these recordings for the client. So when I'm sharing something, I'm sharing it because I think it might help someone, or I think it may bring somebody some clarity or some healing about something. The sound quality is not always perfect, but we try our best. So I just took that as my guidance and my higher self saying, no, just come on and talk about the session, talk about what was experienced. And I could have spent this afternoon sitting down and writing a whole lot of notes, transcribing parts of the session so I could tell you about it, or I could just come on and be me and talk to you about the session and what happened. And I just want to give my client from Belgium a shout out. She is just such a beautiful soul. Thank you so much for coming to me. Thank you for your beautiful energy, and thank you for allowing me to share your messages from your session. You know who you are. And yeah, so she came to me feeling like she had some sacral trauma from this life and past lives. She had some past life energies that needed to be worked out, and it was the usual story of a volunteer, a starseed, not fitting in, not ever feeling like they were home here, not feeling like they really understood how humans are. And I've heard this story very many times from very many beautiful souls, and she was another one of them. She has a really beautiful and pure energy. She has a very kind of etheric, and I would say her colors are kind of pastels, that sort of similar to what I feel my own is, that kind of iridescence, pastel iridescent kind of aura about her. Just a really lovely, lovely energy. So we did this session, and she went into two past lives. The first one, she was a woman who was being sort of mentored and taught by her grandmother, who was a wise woman, teaching her the ways to deal with things like birth and death. And we went to a scene where it was her grandmother was transitioning, and the women knew exactly what to do. They knew how to handle it. They knew what, it was almost like a ceremony. They knew exactly how to go through this process together in the most calm and loving way. And there was also men in the room, and the men did not know how to handle this. They were very emotional, almost aggressive and fearful. And she was just highlighting the contrast between the woman who knew the ways and knew how to deal with this kind of situation, and the men who just dealt with the situation with fear. We then shifted to another scene where she was captured. She was told that she was a witch, and she was burned at the stake. And that was the end of that lifetime. We then moved to another lifetime, and she was this very beautiful, young, long blonde hair, very light, loving, pure soul. And she got into the scene, and she was just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to know what happens here. She's like, she almost, before even recalling the lifetime, she knew. It was almost like her subconscious was just like, I already know this. She was this beautiful, pure, loving energy. She was a young girl. I think she was maybe late teens, 16, 17. And she was going towards this castle, and she was just like, I don't want to go there. I know something not good happens there. I don't want to go in there. And we got to a market before they got to the castle. And in this market, she said she had this interaction with a man, and his energy was a complete contrast to hers. She was this pure, light, loving, free, beautiful spirit, and he was this angry, depressed, dark, grumpy kind of energy. And she just again highlighting the contrast between her energy and the male energy in the scene. She was then taken into the castle, and then we went to a scene where she was raped. And I don't think this was a one-off experience. I think this often happened to women like her. And then she kind of spoke of how that treatment really turned out her light, and really dimmed her shine, her vibrancy. And she then almost started speaking as if she was speaking from the collective. Like she described, her light going out, and the generations of women who have had this sort of collective trauma over very many lifetimes. and that having a huge impact on how women feel about themselves, their bodies, how they feel about life, how they feel about their children, how they feel about their husbands, how and this has had a very detrimental effect on the way women view their lives, and how they operate within their lives, because this is a embedded kind of collective trauma. And I think this is all very poignant for what is happening right now, especially here in the UK. There's a lot going on with the whole male and female divide, and it's quite poignant, I would say. And after that scene, I just kind of, before really knowing what was happening, I just said, okay, so we're going to move to another scene. Go wherever you need to go right now. Not necessarily in the same lifetime, but not, just anywhere that you need to go. And she went to a planet, not on Earth. She went to the Pleiades. She said it was a small planet in the Pleiades, a relatively unknown planet. She said it was beautiful. She said she could see pinks and blues and this kind of glow, vibrancy about everything. This kind of crystalline kind of glow about everything. And the way she described herself, like she wasn't wearing clothes, she was wearing energy. She was wearing an energy form around her. And she felt like she was a queen of some sort. She also felt like a very kind of elven kind of energy about her. She was tall, she was very beautiful, and she was like a queen, a member of a very well respected member of the civilization. We went to a scene where she was with the other beings and they were working together. It's as if she had some kind of authority, but not how we would view an authority here. She was in charge, but there was a mutual respect for where everyone was and how things were being run and what was happening. We then went to her home to see what her home looked like, and she described a crystalline castle, a beautiful structure that had so many different colors, and it was glowing and vibrant and beautiful. Her family were there. She had 3 children and a husband, and I asked her to look into the eyes of all of these beings, and the majority of them were members of her family now. And I asked as well about the procreation and how that happened, what they did to have a child. And this is where things got interesting, because she described that when you wanted to have a child, you would go to this place and basically tell them exactly what you wanted them to be like, their personality, what their likes and dislikes were, how they were going to be, who they were going to be. And essentially your baby was designed for you. And I thought that was kind of, for such a pure and, vibrant, natural place, this seemed slightly odd. And so I kind of asked why things were done that way. And she said it's because the purity of the planet needed to be respected. The protection of the planet needed to be protected. So procreation needed to be more uniform. It needed to be more controlled, because they didn't want any energies coming in from the outside that would affect the planet. And so I thought this was quite interesting. So we dug a little deeper, and it ended up being that she was very much in control of the protection of the planet, because the planet was under threat. There were a number of different types of beings who were trying to come into the planet. The planet was protected by a field of energy, but there were a number of beings who were trying to find their way through that to get in and take resources. And she talked of this resource. It was like a golden type crystal that was under the ground. She said, we don't even use this because we know that it's part of the planet. We know that it is a very pure, beautiful energy, and we don't even want to disturb it. And because the planet is so under threat, we don't want to bring any of that energy near the surface to make, you know, the attraction stronger type thing. And I kind of asked, you know, so do you go off planet? Do you go to other places? And she said, well, really, the only reason why they would go off the planet would be to check the safety and the security of the planet. There wouldn't really be any other reasons to leave. It's very much locked down, so to speak, so that these other beings cannot get in. We then started talking about other reasons for members of this planet to go to other planets, for example, Earth. And I asked Abby about, you know, what their view of the situation on Earth right now was. And she said everybody there knew about what was going on Earth. They feel very sad that Earth is such a beautiful planet, and it's being abused in the way that it's being abused, and the people there are being abused essentially the way they're being abused. And she said this is why she needed to go to Earth and be there at this time. She and her family were volunteers and decided to come to Earth to help, to bring love, and to see and experience the duality that is happening here, the imbalance between the masculine and feminine energies. And this is what relates to the first two scenes that we saw of these two lifetimes, where she was these very strong female figures that were taken down by the patriarchy, basically. So it was a really beautiful session. She talked a lot about the different beings from all over the universe that had volunteered to come to Earth. Like there was a lot of beings who want to come to Earth, who wait a long time to come here, because they all want to help. And the reason why they want to help is because she said Earth is a very big planet. She said this other planets kind of like Earth have been destroyed before, and it's not had as much effect on the universe, on, you know, the cosmos, as much as the destruction of Earth would have. What happens here affects everywhere, essentially. And my whole body kind of went into goosebumps at that. It's something I'd heard before, but it's just sometimes in sessions when you hear something and you hear it in a slightly different way, like you've heard it before, but your internal senses hear it for the first time, and they respond to that. It's almost a confirmation type thing. She was talking about a lot of the different starseeds that have come here, or volunteers that have come here, and for many different reasons. And so she had this kind of dual mission to come here to bring her powerful feminine energy here, because I mean, there she is, a queen. Here she was a witch, and that, you know, that's a stark contrast. But she also had to have that experience of having these lifetimes where she was these powerful women, and what it was actually like to be on the receiving end of the patriarchal system that is here on Earth. So yeah, this was a really amazing session. I'd love to have shared the audio with you, but as I say, the sound isn't that great. But this was kind of the general gist. She also mentioned something quite interesting about a lot of the volunteers. There are many, many volunteers here who don't know where they're from. Some do know where they're from, some will find out where they're from, but not everyone should know where they're from, because that can affect what their mission is. And I guess that kind of reminded me of something I had been feeling, that there was a lot in the community, the starseed community, who get very attached to being from one specific place. That you're just from that place and that's it. And I find this work reminds me often that we are all from everywhere. We have had lives all over everywhere, and sometimes we may be in one specific place when we decide to come to Earth, but we are all part of something much bigger, much more. So don't limit yourselves to having to be from one specific place, because we have aspects of ourselves all over. I always say, like, we're galactic mongrels. We're from all over the place. So yeah, I just wanted to share that session with you guys. From what I can remember of the recording that I've listened to, it was really lovely. She's a beautiful soul, and her higher self had some amazing information for her. I think it's taken her a little while to integrate the session, but she's doing really, really well. And I really look forward to see how this unfolds for her. What else I want to say? There was another session I did last weekend, and I won't give too much information about it because it was very personal. But it was along the lines of, it was a client who had dealt in the past year with a very significant amount of grief and loss. And the message from the session that we did together was that embedded within grief and loss, there is love. And with these experiences and with these traumas in our lives, it really is essentially love expressing itself in another form for humans to learn. And embedded within that, knowing that it is another form of love is where the healing is. And I just thought that was a really beautiful, beautiful message. Something I've heard along those lines before, but a different circumstance. I remember doing a session where, for myself, where I was asking about the anxiety that I have surrounding my daughter and her medical appointments. It's something that still triggers me a lot whenever we get a phone call or a letter about something to do with her and something medical. I still get very, very emotional about it. I've still got some energy in there that I maybe need to do some work on. And my higher self described it to me as the anxiety that I'm feeling is really just another form of love, like expressing itself through the emotion of being anxious. The anxiety that I'm feeling is really just another expression of how much I love my child. So I just think that's a really beautiful message, and I think that can be found in many, many of our human experiences. So what else do I want to say? I just want to send so much love to everyone. I had a bit of a funny moment yesterday where I just felt so exhausted with everything in our world, and I wrote a post on my personal Facebook page about it, about just being so tired of the way things are and the way that we're being conditioned right now, to be fearful of each other. And I've had this kind of pressure behind my eyes all this last week, just kind of this heaviness. And so I wrote this post and I posted it, and I said more in it than I would usually say in a post about what's going on in the world. But there was something bigger than me that was telling me to post this. It was just like another one of those, my higher self's guiding me to do something, therefore I just have to do it. So I posted this post, and somebody, I think she's one of my colleagues, posted something about, everything is at its darkest just before dawn. And that really resonated with where I felt like I just needed to be in this space. I needed to express that. I just really needed to express what I was feeling in that way. And I had, a really positive response in that I had nobody attacking me. But it's just like I needed to just be in that space. And then when I woke up this morning, everything just felt so much lighter. And I actually got a message today from somebody who owns an independent news channel asking to use my post as an article for their independent news network. So it's like, wow, okay. So that felt like the light at the end of that dark tunnel. So I think what I'm trying to say is, when you're in that space and you're feeling all of these heavy, heavy emotions, don't resist them. Just go there and let yourself be there, and it will shift a lot quicker, and you will get through that part. And there's, a lot of us are feeling alone right now, but it's remarkable the amount of people that reach out and say, I feel the same way, but I'm just too scared to say anything. Even though we feel alone, there is an army of us who very much feel the same way about everything we're experiencing in our world. So yeah, I guess that's my message for today. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've enjoyed this little update. You can follow me on my Facebook page. I share a lot of my writings there. Not so much here, because obviously this is a different way of doing it. But I share a lot of my writings on my Facebook page. I also have a heart-based quantum healing group, which is a beautiful mixture of clients and practitioners and people who might just be interested in quantum healing, who all come together and talk about the work. I've had clients come on and talk about their integration process and how that's going. And it's just a really loving, safe space for people to go and share this kind of work and their experiences of it. So you can join that. That's heart-based quantum healing. What else? I'm going to be doing another Oh, my mind just went blank. Sorry, everyone. We're going to be doing another group progression soon. There we go. Back in the room. Another group progression soon. So I've just made the front photo for it, the thumbnail for it. So I'm going to be organizing that soon. I'll let you guys know when that's up and running, and should be sometime at the end of this month. So yeah, come and join if you want to have a little group session in the quantum field. My diary is really filling up for the end of this month, so I'm starting to book sessions for next month and the month after. So this seems to be the time when things pick up a bit, and so yeah, if you're looking to have a session, then let me know. Also, there's my mailing list. That's another way to get my information and my messages that's not on social media. So you can just go to my website, www.raphaelasoulsessions.com, wait for the pop-up, type in your email, and then you'll start receiving my mailing list messages. And this month, there is an offer for anybody who's on my mailing list. So if you want to check out that offer and see what that is, then you can sign up for that. So I think that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this has given you something, even just a little bit of time taking your focus away from everything that's happening in our world right now. Then I guess it's worth it. So I have to go because very soon I have a consultation with a client, so I need to go and get ready for that. And yeah, I just send you all so much love, and I will be back very, very soon to share more messages with you. I hope you have a beautiful day whenever you watch this, and take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.